First, I think it's the European debt crisis. We're going to see a drop in consumption in Europe that's going to apply and affect supply chains around the world. At the same time, there's a growth in consumption across BRICS, and that's going to be an interesting trend to see domestic production and domestic investment grow. We have elections in India. We have a lot of new legislation coming into place in Brazil with the sporting events. So we will be watching that closely. And then on the financial sector side, we have securitization, which is back in fashion. So maybe we will see increased lending into small and medium-sized businesses in the coming year. So overall, 2014, consumption hikes, consumption drops, and perhaps more lending.
Being a small company, there is only one strategy: keeping existing clients satisfied and getting new ones. And it is a function of the number of relationships you can develop. Macro trends are less important, although of course deflation, if it comes, will impact us, but customer relationships are the key factor determining the performance of the year.
One of the big trends that we see in Hewlett-Packard is the emergence of a lot of connected objects. We call that the Internet of Things, machine to machine. And what it does is that all kinds of objects that were not connected before start to be connected, generating a lot of data. You see, for example, connected cars. You see, for example, smart meters. You see, for example, connected homes. And so that all these things generate a lot of data, and this data then gets analyzed. And so for a business like HP, it's very important because that requires a lot of IT capabilities. And at the end of the day, we're capable of helping our customers, which are large enterprises.
The Swiss banks restrictions that they are putting in place since end of last year. What I mean by that, you may have heard that Credit Suisse and some other banks have announced that about 50 countries will be off their list, so they will not serve customers from those countries anymore, and the existing bank accounts will be closed. How does that impact us as a business? We have an advisory company that deals with namely such customers, and of course those banks are closing many of those countries because of money laundering issue, but there are always 10, 20, 25% of those accounts which are good and they need to be serviced somewhere else. So we are taking care of that because we believe that everyone has the right of managing their money and their funds in a good way, and if it's good money, they should be having the good attention and the good opportunity.
The demand of infrastructure in countries like Africa, it's a lot to make there. They need everything. They need roads. They need new production capacities. That means infrastructure. And in an environment with low interest rates, you can finance it at very low cost. And that's the interesting thing.
Been involved since several years in banking industry, and for me what will impact a lot is the growth in emerging economies, how much or how we can give services in these new economies, maybe Africa, maybe still Asia. So definitely for me, impact will come from emerging markets.
Actually complying with all the regulations of the the de-risking and making sure that we all comply with all the regulations in Europe and all the FATCA and all the tax regulations. It's going to impact hugely our business, more in the choice of our clients. We have business growth actually, but we really have to ensure that compliance and regulations are respected in our business. I think that's the most impacting trend in 2014.